Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I'm back. Now, before I get too far into this, I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good. I'm about to talk about some of my beliefs. This is not religious in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I believe in aliens. I believe God created the heavens and the earth, and in all his infinite wisdom, I do believe he put more than one intelligent species in all these vast planets and cosmos. I do not believe the earth is flat. I do believe in certain conspiracy theories. But the one thing I believe in the most is ghosts. I've had a few experiences with them over the years, starting at a young age. None of mine have been bad though. Some a little scary, but none been bad. Now, the earliest I remember is my mother, father, me, my brother, and mom and pop. My mama's mother, father had come back from a vacation like in Florida or something, and we dropped them off in Minden, Louisiana. Still early in the day, and then we came back to El Dorado, and my mother was just complaining, grumpy, bitchy, tired, and she turned, back then, phones were not like this. Phones were mounted on the wall, had a long cord, that cord that could reach to 15 different rooms in the house. And there was a switch on the side. You could flip it off and it didn't ring. And my mother said, even though it was still daylight out, everybody's going to bed. It probably was 7, 8 o'clock. I don't know. My brother and I slept in the same room. He had a bed off on one side and I had a bed off on the other, and he liked to aggravate the piss out of me, and all of a sudden, I was about half asleep, and I felt something sit on the side of my bed, and I started kicking, Scott, get off the bed, get off the bed, get off the bed. And I felt a weight on my chest. Now, my Uncle Calvin, because I had, back then, I actually had hair, and he always called me a curly-haired little girl. Uncle Calvin was my mother's brother who lived in New York. He was known to fly down, get a rental car, and drive on down to the house. Wasn't nothing new. He had a key to the house. Well, I felt a weight on my chest, and he goes, little girl, it's me, Calvin. Hey, Uncle Calvin, when you get here? Just a little while ago. All right, I'll see you in the morning at breakfast. I won't be here. I'm not going to be around as much, but I'm still going to keep an eye on you and your brother. All right, Uncle Calvin. And I hear Scott, shut up, Uncle Calvin's talking to me. He ain't talking to you. Shut up, he's talking to me. The weight got a little bit heavier on my chest, and he goes, I'm talking to both of you. Now hush. Over the next few days, you're going to have to take care of your mom and dad, but I'll always be watching you. All right. I'll roll over and went to sleep. Now, in mine and my brother's room, we had this would have been a Saturday, because we turned on Saturday morning cartoons on a little 10 or 12 inch black and white TV in our bedroom. And we had these little bitty folding chairs. And we'd sit there and stare up at the top of the dresser where it was at and watch cartoons in the morning. Well, my job in the morning was to go get the breakfast cereal. So I went up and got a couple of things of breakfast cereal. And as I'm headed to the kitchen, I can hear my mother screaming. She's having a nervous breakdown. She finally flipped the switch on the phone, and she just got a call from her mother and father, mom and pop in Minden, that my Uncle Calvin was dead. He had been murdered. And all of a sudden, everything just clicked in my head. Oh, I couldn't have been older than 8, 9, 10. My brother's 3.5 years older than me, so, you do the math. I walked back in, handed him a bowl of cereal. Mama's just found out about Uncle Calvin. Scott looked at me kind of funny. Didn't say much. I'm not sure if it clicked with him or not. About an hour or so later, after everybody calmed down, my dad comes in, snotting and snorting. What happens when a man cries. Puts his arm around us. Boys, I got something to tell you. I looked at him. Oh, we know, Dad. Uncle Calvin's dead. Oh, you heard us? No, he came and talked to us last night. He said he was murdered. What murdered? At this point in time, Dad's just about rocked on his heels. He's stone cold sober. It's when somebody kills somebody else. Yeah, he said his roommate or something killed him. Yeah. Dad, what's gay? What do you mean? See, it was a very tight secret, and at that point in time, nobody really knew my Uncle Calvin was gay. My dad didn't know. My mother suspected. He goes, yeah, they said it was his boyfriend. He was kicking him out for drug use or something. Now, I'm back in the bedroom. We have no way of hearing this conversation on a phone. There was no speakerphones. So he knows I've got information. He goes back up. He didn't say anything to my mother. But when my mother starts telling him that my Uncle Calvin was dead, it was his gay roommate, they always suspected, and that the roommate was on drugs, and this is all information I had just told him not 20, 30 minutes ago. Well, let's just say Daddy had to come to Jesus and he started believing in ghosts too. Now, the funny thing is, nobody's ever spoken about this story since then. Nobody. But it's one of the earliest memories I have. I dealt with it again years later with my daughter Ashley. See, Mom and Papa gotten old and couldn't quite take care of themselves anymore, and Pop had basically come back to the house to pass away. And my daughter would come see me every other weekend, and the room that she was in, she knew that was Pop's room. She had this big red ball. She'd go in there, and Pop would try to throw it, failed. Pop had passed away, and a month or so comes along, and I'm looking for Ashley, and I can't find her. And I walk up to where I can see her just inside this room. Now, there's nothing in this room at this point in time except a old day bed or something. And all of a sudden, I see the ball roll to her. She's sitting there, spread-legged on the ground. Ball rolls to her. She lightly pushes it back. She's about 3. And she giggles. And Pop again. And I see the ball not rebounding, but rolling carefully to her. And I said, Ashley, who are you playing with? She's like, Pop. Ashley, baby, Pop's dead. He's gone. Oh, Pop got to go bye-bye? All right, bye-bye, Pop. She stands up. Here, Pop, one ball. Tosses the ball. Waves. I stick my head in. There's nothing in there. She goes, bye, Pop. Love you. And waves by and walks out the room. Now, my little girl wasn't strong. She's only about 3 or 4. I never found that damn red ball. That thing was about that big. I never found that red ball again. They're out there. They're your angels. They're watching. Peace, love, and nacho grease.